I mean, basically, I realized that you are the woman of industrial music. And I've seen that in 2002, I curated some shows with Rita Ackerman.
Oh.
And I actually ended up at Genesis's house. And the piece I chose was the tampon piece. And reading your book, I realized that it was your bloody tampons that I chose. I mean,
I don't think he was menstruating at that point.
I mean, I knew that, and I knew about Coom, and Records of Civilization was my Bible. I mean, I even named, like, I have this one band called Gang Gang Dance, and I named our publishing company Spoken Tongues after, reading that book and your gift of tongues.
Yeah.
Like I literally named my publishing. I sent my BMI checks and I would think of you. And Coom, for me, it opened all the doors of risk with the things in the music industry that I needed to address. And to this morning, I was up all night reading your book because, so this morning.
And it's a big book.
It's a big book, and I can't tell you the last time I read a full book, you know what I mean? I kind of felt crazy, but anyway, I re-listened to Wired, and I re-listened to Help Me With Your Night, all the Chris and Cosey songs that really changed my life. And I was lucky that I was in Miami because I made a piece because of Chris and Cosey, and I took a picture of it, and it was in Miami. I used to go around, I would get in a canoe and wear a kimono, and I'd be Cosey and he'd be pissed, and we'd take portraits of each other in the same pose, and so I have a picture of it I could show you. The Chris and Cosey songs that we would listen to during that time was really, when Sleazy died in the book, I started bawling. It was such a great read. But anyway, I think, that was great. I thought that was funny.
Do you have any questions?
Oh, well, okay. I do have some questions. Going into the industry, putting yourself in the position where you knew how to pose to see the eyes of men in the pornographic industry for free censorship. It's so much more radical than Cindy Sherman setting up a portrait of, setting up a portrait in her safe space.
I know that's what you're talking about. But I think we were on a different path completely. I don't know her personally, but obviously from what she's done, it's nothing like what I do. So.
No.
But I've always been someone that just went out there and I wanted the experience myself. I didn't want anything secondhand, and I didn't want to be anybody else. And I was just really going out there to just discover exactly who I was and how far I could push myself, because it's the only way I find who I was, You
took that threat or risk of violation and you turned it into a vehicle of understanding the human condition, really, which is radical for women that work in that industry. Female artists, they talk about feminism to me, and I was in that wax show too.
Oh, really?
I performed with my band, IUD.
Oh, great.
And I went back and I love this firm, I know. But I went in there and I was like, when I read in the book, here's the book, Lizzie, but I read in the book that you were in that show. I remember you were in that show. but nobody else really resonated with me except Barbara S., who was in the wide pants.
But going out there and doing those things, yeah, it was dangerous, but I didn't think of it like that at the time. I was too busy doing it.
Yeah.
It was scary. I'm not saying it wasn't, because I'd go some places and I'd really think, you should go home, you shouldn't go through that door. Because I don't know what's behind the door, and I don't know if I'll come out.
I mean, with every story in the book, I was scared for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had this fear of, like when I would leave the house when I first moved to New York. I'm from Long Island, but when I was in Williamsburg, blasting trance and October's song, and
I think when you're young, that you don't think of yourself as vulnerable. Well, I didn't, because I was brought up in a very violent city anyway. I kind of had a really good bullshit radar for one, and secondly, reading body language and feeling threat. But it's different in every city, to be honest. Everybody's, so you have to sort of build that up. When we got to London, it was different again. But I was still used to possibly having to defend myself. Right. And it was only when I got to London that I adopted the keys in the hand weapon. Yeah, yeah. Because I thought, no, if I just get them in the eye with that, they can't even see me as a target, so I'd be too busy. My eyes. No, I didn't see, I never saw the point of saying, well, like, you go and get a job. Because I just thought I was doing what I needed to do to make things happen. So the fact that the others didn't do it didn't really bother me as long as it happened. Yeah. I mean, they got off free. Yeah, they got a free ride. Yeah. But I mean, the bigger picture is what I was aiming at, not someone, getting a job or not.
And I mean, and for you, Liz, you were doing these things, having been born at a later date when attitudes maybe were less ingrained, and you were still
different for you.
It should have been different for you. That's what I'm, And so maybe, how did you feel when you were doing these things, within the context of your group?
At the time, I felt exactly as Cosey.
Just getting it done.
Just getting it done, right. So we could get to the next phase, because we had to get shit done, you know, and we had to. When there was just MySpace, or we were booking our own tours in Istanbul, email it, and it was exciting. I had my pouch of the tour money. I had to collect the tour money after every gig. I had the pouch here, I was always the nominated one. I just nominated myself because that's what somebody had to do it.
Or you didn't trust them to do it.
I didn't trust them to do it. I was like, we're gonna leave the club now. Nobody has the money. This blue mover where you would go into the porn circles as your working way of challenging yourself, risking yourself. And I never saw that in a lot of people in the art world. The one person I did see it with was Chris Burden, and I read in the book that he left your one performance.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
Yeah, that's
But then again, I don't know. That time when we were doing the things we were doing, and he was doing that, and Marina Abramovich was doing things. But I never connected with what they did, really, because I thought it was quite theatrical. It wasn't personal enough for me. Having yourself shot is very personal, but it was theatrical. It was a performance, and our things were actions. They weren't, they were improvised, and they weren't scripted in the same way. So, it wasn't about drama at all. And because you then create this thing of the performer and the audience, and we wanted to sort of just bring that together, really. Yeah. That's what was important, is that we felt that connection with the people there. And when you do something that is that sort of dramatic, I think you miss that opportunity. becomes more about you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not more about us.
yeah, or the universal condition, right? Like,
So for the first time I engaged with feminism because I did a women's study course, and that was the best out of the whole 6 years that I did.
oh yeah.
It was really fantastic, and it had a personal result as well, which was really nice because, I mean, I shouldn't say it, but it encouraged the woman across the road to have an affair because she'd been in a really unhappy marriage. I mean, really bad. And I didn't encourage her. She just sort of, I had to do a project on a woman or an autobiography, strangely enough, and I chose to do her biography because she was so upset and in a position that she hated. She was completely trapped. And I said, I've got to do this. She said, oh, do me. So I said, and I really got to know her. I didn't know 80% of what she'd gone through. And I sat and did this biography, her biography. And at the end of it, she said, I'm just going to go out there and enjoy myself now. I've put up with this too long.
Wow.
And she did, and she had about 4 different affairs. And
That's,
she just really blossomed. And to see the difference in her from this sort of really sad, cynical, snapping, cynical remarks all the time because she was just so upset and angry. And she was just smiling the whole time, and she just rediscovered her body, and
I mean, that's,
it was quite beautiful. I mean, she doesn't feature in the book because she died about, I think, 5 years ago. And I did put it in, but by that time I'd got to like 7 funerals, and I thought, I can't keep putting
Yeah.
funerals in the book.
yeah.
Yeah. There were some funerals. There were some health risks. Like when you swam in polystyrene granules.
Polystyrene, yeah.
What is that?
You know what polystyrene is in packaging?
Oh, like
Yeah.
styrofoam.
The tiny little balls
Yeah.
of it.
Oh, I was like envisioning like a milky liquid that
should have
you know,
been,
like
but we
like
couldn't.
Ibahase kind of
Yeah.
like latex metal. I mean,
No, they're tiny little balls because, like, and I didn't even think, you know, on a practical level, you breathe out, that's fine, but when you breathe in, they shoot up your nose and down your throat.
Yeah, that's so dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays it's as dangerous as you going into a guy's apartment and, you know, and doing your photo shoot with them, you know, like that one, was it Skazo?
Zabo.
Zabo.
Oh, he was a
When
good guy.
you had your hands and he said, I can do anything to you right now.
Yeah, he was right here.
And I mean, that position you were in so many times probably.
Not in that position.
I wanted to ask you about what it felt like dressing as Nina Hagen, as another woman that had this, you know, wild, because there was that one instance where you changed your whole, you know, you wore the wig and everything. What was that like to play somebody else?
It was good fun actually. It's only because she wasn't available and we had to do this animal liberation video. So I don't think it was even our track. It was Lena's and her track that she'd done. Yeah, Don't Kill the Animals, that one. So it was quite funny because I had to take on. I'm a crap actor. I can't act to save my life.
Oh, you said that in the book.
Yeah, I really am shit. But it was okay with her because she didn't have, how can I put this? I'm quite ladylike when I walk in stilettos, but when I knew that Nena wouldn't be, she'd be just like she had just like Doc Martens on or something when there were stilettos or not. So I had to take on that stance with her and just be like just going for it. Because have you ever met her?
Nina, I photographed her.
She's full on.
Morning.
She really is full on.
Yeah.
And it was just good fun to do it. Yeah, I didn't mind it. I had to climb over a fence, that was a problem in a short skirt and stilettos, but I managed it.
You know, do you remember how obsessed I was with Lena Lovitch?
What
Yeah.
I
did
had
you
that one
Yeah.
album. Oh yeah, I had that one album
Yes, I
at
did.
my house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I was like, P.S. Leave me alone, check what the fuck. Like, I couldn't believe it. Your striptease to because the night.
Yeah.
I've done a video to that too, but
Yeah.
Lenny mentioned that last night. He
really,
said I had to laugh when I saw that you'd danced to Because the Night.
I've been playing this
Just
for
before
him.
you got, yeah.
Heaven by Per Ubu. So,
Yeah.
so that was the song that you chose to strip to,
Yeah.
and then they came in.
Yeah, he came. No, he came to the pub with us where I was working. Because certain pubs you could there was like a large area you could sit away from the audience. That was okay. Because the guys didn't like you to bring guys along because they just looked like your pimps.
Yeah.
And David Thomas was in town. He came along just to be with me and to talk. And then the track came on and it was just like stone faced. I didn't understand why, but it was
You
he
said
really meant heaven, and I thought he meant heaven like orgasmic heaven, but it wasn't.
Well, you did say that maybe you thought he turned Jehovah Witness.
I think he was at that point. That's what I was told. But no, he didn't say much about it. But it was a great track to use for stripping.
Yeah, we were listening to it just
Yeah, funny enough, I could get away with that and Patti Smith
Yeah.
and Beefheart, Hard Working Man.
Really?
But I couldn't really get away with Love Lies Limp by ATV because that was a little bit, like having a go at me. I did it once when Alex and Mark were in the pub watching me. I said, I'll dance to your record, and they put it on. Love Lies Limp.
I love it. So good.
Wait, do I know that song?
By Alternative TV.
It's all about not being able to get hard.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's perfect for perfect for
But
stripping.
you always managed to give everyone a hard on. I think. I guess I liked when you said, I just am, and my work is cozy. And reading the whole book, I just felt this like selflessness as your selflessness too, like that piece, which I didn't. I wanted to show you the Piss and Posy piece before you go.
Is that Piss and Cosey taking the piss out of Chris and Cosey?
Maybe. I think.
Irreverent homage.
Yeah, here's my homage. Piss said happy, Posy said birthday. That's the piece.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so that's Piss. But I guess there was just no ego in the book, so I thought that selflessness title really resonated with me because I just didn't see an ego.
Somebody else I did an interview and said, have you got an ego? And I think everyone's got an ego, it's part of who we are, but I think he meant, have I got a big head? I don't know. So I don't think so, I don't even think about it. It's not my primary thought when I think I'm going to do something like, will this make me look good or will this be good for my CV? I don't think about it.
You know what I think about the kill, was it the kill button? What was it?
The kill switch.
The kill switch. Did you get... TG wanted a sound that hit people between the eyes and swirled and grinding in the third eye, which for me felt really spiritual, and like Coon for me was really spiritual. And then I guess I never really considered industrial music as spiritual. I know it can be euphoric, or I know it can get you to that ecstatic state of like when you're at BurgerCon and like your golden shot, like the whole thing's going down. But I don't know. I was wondering if you think industrial, like, is industrial music spiritual to you? Like,
I've never been asked that before. It was just a continuum for me. So, being spiritual, but in a very, very rather physical way. The entry to being spiritual was much more physical with the sound of TG than it was with the actions of Coon.
Yeah.
So that the sound kind of like then made it completely a body experience, and it wasn't just a cerebral thing or, you know, trying to get to a higher level or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, I've changed my mind about all that now after I died.
Yeah.
I mean, there ain't nothing there, so
Yeah.
I've got to reevaluate what I think about it all.
Yeah, my friend, my girlfriend in IUD, she's an atheist as well. And I said, you gotta read this fucking book, like, you know, Cosey's an atheist.
It doesn't mean that you don't feel and you're not sensitive, because you are.
Yeah.
I mean, we are little chemical cocktails, and how we react with one another, you know, it's really important.
Yeah.
So, but I wouldn't call that spirituality.
Yeah.
I just call it existence.
Yeah.
And hopefully with one another, you know, in harmony.
Yeah.
Or conflict, it's always interesting, gets you